Assalamu alaikum everyone.
Assalamu alaikum.
Welcome to another episode of the Kissa podcast. It is supported by...
This is season 3 and we're bringing you a series of episodes about beauty within. We're going to be talking to influencers, stylists and people in the fashion industry.
Our guest today is Hasham Baig. He's a stylist, he's a fashionista himself. But what we absolutely adore about him is that he is here for his mother. He moved countries to support her.
Hello everyone, my name is Hasham Baig and I'm a fashion stylist, art director and a fashion marketeer and a very loving son as well. So I moved to Bahrain about 1 year and a few months now, probably 1.5 years. And the reason for me moving here was because I was on my own. I moved to Pakistan for a few years and my father, my Abu, passed away 4 years back. And my mom was not in the condition of, me looking after her 24/7 because I was working as well. So my mom had to move after my Abu's death to Bahrain. I have my family here, my brother, his beautiful family, and they are actually taking care of my mom. And me in Pakistan thinking something is not complete, kuch adhura hai. I don't feel complete myself. It's just not about the career, it's not about the job, it's not about, money comes and go, your career comes and go. It's just that bond that you have with your parents, with your mother, your siblings. I think that's all the time with you, within your body. So I thought, I just need to, while I need to make my life, my career, I'll be close to my mom, and mom is one of the reasons I moved here. So I packed up the courage and, packed everything, and I moved to Bahrain to, see my mom and be close to my mother. When I was in Pakistan, I was working for different companies as a consultant for big fashion brands, designers, as a visual merchandiser, fashion stylist and art director. And I had a very good PR with all the people. I did fashion weeks, fashion shows, and that was a big thing for me, being recognized in Pakistan as one of the stylists. So it was amazing journey, but then sometimes you have to give up those things, your career, your dreams, for the people you love. If you leave something for a good reason, God will repay you in some way. So I really, really believe in that as well. And because our mothers and our parents are like blessings. So if you do something good for them, because they gave us birth and we owe them. So if you repay them in some way by looking after them and love them, I think that's a big investment, that's a big blessing. More power, more money, more career, everything comes, by the grace of Allah. I really work on self-love, self-positivity, and I think self-love is very important. It's not about appearance, it's the inside beauty, like, connection with God, or, giving respect to people, be honest to people. I think honesty is very rare in this time of age now. So that's inside that you need to work on. Even like mannerism, mannerism, be sweet and kind and polite to people. I think that's the beauty that defines a person. Self-love. I work on self-love, so I think that's a big thing for me. I think I learned how to be a carer. I learned how to have a self-patience. I learned how to have a tolerance, and I can, build up on my future on that. So if I'm learning from, my parents how to look after, and I know how I'm going to look after myself in future, or family or whatever. So I think it teaches you a lot. My mother is going through dementia, in her later stage of dementia now, which is dependent on everyone. So while I was in Pakistan, I was looking after her for like 3 years in her initial stage, and it was getting worse. So I think she was just a baby, and me looking after her taught me, like, how she used to look after us and what she went through, what pain, grief, things that you can't tell, how she's went through, and we should be, blessed with these things, that we can actually do it for them. When they say, like, Boodha Bacha Barabar, it's exactly same. And somebody's ill on top, I think that's is very much, you need to work with the patients. So I think that taught lots of things about myself during that journey. I think beauty comes and go, I would say, but for this time of age, I think they call it dikhega to bikega. You know, if you're not looking after yourself, your self-love, because I think the beauty inside lasts till your grave. People remember you with your good deeds, with your personality, not like what you used to look like. Because I think after a certain age, that beauty, the visible beauty, like that goes. But the personality inside stays until your death. You want to be acceptable, you know, that's the main thing these days. I think somebody who goes through surgery, it's part of self-love, but I think the society drives you towards that self-love. Maybe you don't want to go under the knife, you don't want to go to different procedures for hours and all these stitches and pain. It's just, you know, the society drives you. I think bully is one of them. You know, when you get bullied by other means, like not like in your face or anything, like, then I think that makes you think, I think I should do something, I want to look like her. All these beauty products, all these celebrities, all these people in the fashion industry, they drive you to change yourself as well. I would say some part of this is positive and some is like you don't want to do it, but then you have to do it. Because if you are like someone like an icon or somebody in that industry, you want to be more acceptable. So this society will accept you if you're perfect, even look perfect looking, financially perfect, body perfect. We live in a fake world, I would say. And in order to live in this world, you have to be, your part of your body or your existence should be slightly fake as well. What I have to change about beauty industry would be just be yourself. I think sometimes even with me, like sometimes I have enough of dressing up. I have enough of, you know, looking after myself. I have enough of being, you know, you have to be, with my industry in the fashion, you have to be that kind of person in order to fit in. So sometimes you just give up, you're like, you know what, I'm just gonna go in my PJs. I just wanna go casually without anything on my face. I just wanna do just normal stuff. But then it's very difficult. I've tried that lots of time. Like a couple of events, I was like, you know, mere mein himmat nahi hai, I can't be asked to get ready. But then the moment you're getting ready, you're like, no, actually, what people gonna say? Log kya kahenge? We still have this thing in our mind, like what people gonna say? Oh, you look like this now. I thought you were like this. You know, that they keep you from one box to other box. They shift you quickly. So I think in order to fit in, I think you have to make an effort with everything. My styling is not about what's in trend, what's in, you know, I go for personal styling. I'm talking about general trends we talk about, but personal styling for me, it depends on your personality. I would go for something that you like, but in my way, like an improvised version, rather than, you know, okay, this is in trend, but it doesn't suit you, but still you have to wear it. No, I'm not like this. I go for what you like, go through what your preferences are, and then, you know, cater them in terms of my style for them, kind of thing. And for example, I had this client in Bahrain, and she had a self-confidence issue with her wardrobe and with her like everything. She had some personal issues as well, and she just not getting out from a shell. So she just hired me to revamp everything, all her wardrobe. And I was like, okay, fine. So I had to go to a place, see what she's into and everything. And she was willing to change 200% about her in terms of her makeup, her skincare routine, her, you know, outfits. And I felt really good by giving a transformation, because she had this confidence that, you know, even the person who's taking the ticket in the cinema, you know, ripping the ticket to go in cinema, he didn't even look at me. Am I so bad? And I felt so like touched, and I was like, no, it's not the case. Maybe, you know, it's their job not to stare at people, or maybe, you know, make it more positive. But then she was like, no, I need to change this. And I spent like a month with her, like in different meetings when she hired me. And then she was like transformed. And I have a few, I can't name it actually, I have the videos and everything. And she was so happy that she was in tears, that like people actually look at me twice now. If I'm going to a restaurant, people will look at me. And that, I think that's when I get that kind of compliment about someone, like, oh, you know, that's, I've done the job, you know, I've done it now. By saying this, actually, if you change your appearance, I think, or it gives you positive vibe to yourself, it's a self-confidence basically. So me being with her, it was not about, just, I have to buy her this, she need to wear this, No, I spent some time with her as well to give that boost to her confidence, like go for a coffee, go to restaurants. Sometimes what they do, the clients start opening up themselves. When they open themselves, that's where my, the personal side comes in. Okay, you know what, I need to help this person. Okay, be positive, love yourself. Things come and go. Everybody's got issues, stress, depression in their life. But then, we have to overcome with this self-confidence. And I think that pep talk, one-to-one relation with the person, I think that really helps as well to open up. And then, when they start opening up themselves, then you find other things which I can relate with their physical appearance, with the colors or something, with the moods and everything. And that's, I think, when you nail the whole styling thing. Styling, I think fashion styling, or styling, I would say, it's not all about how you look. It's about, the grooming of inside person, the self-confidence, the self-love. I think styling, everybody can be a stylist, anybody can be a designer. People who, if you think about our mothers, they used to stitch at home. I would call them a designer as well, because they stitch something that looked good on them, and they were positive and happy about this. So it's not about how you look, it's about what you deep inside. So if I am, for example, grooming someone, that's part of the grooming styling. It's about giving them the self-confidence. So if you are self-confident, then you can do anything you want, even look good, look after yourself, your skincare, makeup, whatever. But giving that self-positivity, the self-confidence is the whole thing. I think everything is all here. If you start, for example, if you think the green apple is red, 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 and your brain automatically, say, oh yeah, it is red, and you're like, okay, I'll eat it now, even though it's green. So it's all in your head, how you perceive things, how you, see things, for what eye you will see. It's all, then if you get that thing, it's all about self-confidence. So if I say today, okay, my hands are not nice, and I start putting something on, and I would say to myself, actually, it looks nice, it feels nice. You will feel the change yourself, like, oh, even though you haven't put anything, just water maybe on your hand, but then you think, it feels good, but then it's just, it's all mind games as well. Every morning when I get up in the morning, I just look at the mirror and say, okay, Hasham, you are good, you're positive, you love yourself, people are going to accept you because you love yourself, and just be positive and do something good today. So that makes me, go, okay, now I'm ready. And then I quickly change. So after changing, I look at myself, but everybody does, in the mirror. How do I look today? Even, you're not on the best, like if I'm ill or something, but I still see in the mirror and say, you look good today, and that instantly your mind, that blood rushes in your mind. They say, you know what, Hasham, you look amazing. I would say your emotions are more, they make you do things that are more positive. For example, if you have a good perception or positivity about yourself or anyone, I think you will success. The success will be yours. And plus, I think if you have some loved ones in your life, for example, your partner or your siblings or most importantly, your parents, and they love you the way you are and you love them unconditionally, then I think everybody, all the puzzle just goes into its places itself. Because I would still believe, your parents are the blessings, and without them, I think we are nothing. And if we are positive about our family, our parents, or our partners, and I think then everything becomes positive in life. So I would say, if anybody wants to work on themselves, have a loved one with you and be positive and love yourself unconditionally. And Kissa is doing so well. I think it's that podcast where I think you talk from emotions, from heart. And other podcasts, sometimes it's scripted, or sometimes, you are told what to say. But then, it's like you speak from your heart. And Kissa, if you think about the word Kissa, it's about the story. So you are delivering your story yourself for people to know who you are. Hats off, to Kissa team, to Sabah and Shami, and I wish them all the best for the future.
Thank you for watching this episode in our series, Beauty Within. We really hope you enjoyed it and learned something about internal beauty.
Thank you for all the love that you've given to Kissa. If you're still not following us, please do on Kissa_ on YouTube and on Instagram.